In this video, we'll be checking out our top 5 modded Titan Slayers from Ark Survival Ascended. These shall all be custom and original modded creatures available on the CurseForge platform. And if you'd like to see more of these top 5 videos, don't forget to hit subscribe and follow the channel. At number 5, we have the Deathworm from No Untameables by Meraxes. This tameable Deathworm has been repurposed into a creature that matches the properties of most other tamed dunners in the game, such as variable levels, saddles, genders, and even breeding, which can make a Deathworm a truly fearsome ally. The No Untameables Deathworm is the pinnacle of glass cannon, where they can deal devastating damage and destroy their targets, but they themselves are quite fragile compared to other creatures of a similar power. A lone Deathworm will not be able to solo any Titans at extinction, but bring a pack or a herd of them and they will tear a Titan apart at frightening speeds, but at a potential cost of some of their own lives. However, a unique characteristic to the No Untameables Deathworm means that while it can burrow down just like the vanilla ones, while in a buried state, the Titans seem to retain their attention to the player-ridden Deathworm underground, and if utilised correctly, this could actually allow the player to sort of tank the Titan and focus all the attacks on the buried Deathworm while it is buried and taking 0 damage, leaving the rest of its allies and your tamed army to wail on the Titan while it is fixated on you, resulting in your glass cannon army taking effectively 0 damage depending on your luck. Though do be warned that even in the buried state, both the Ice Titan can freeze you and the Forest Titan can root you, both resulting in you becoming exposed and vulnerable to further damage. But if you're able to burrow away quick enough, you can save a Deathworm while once again taking the attention of the Titans while the rest of your army deals the necessary damage. At number 4, we have the Hatzegopteryx by Xiphias. The Hatzegopteryx is a large endgame Archicid, and one of the few flyers of its strength and power to actually have a saddle as well, seeing how the common strategy for defeating the Desert Titan involves chucking Wyverns at it, but Wyverns of course lack any armoured saddles, whereas a Hatzegopteryx not only has access to an armoured saddle, but can also fly backwards while player mounted, which allows for easy manoeuvrability, especially against those lightning strikes and dodging them with ease. According to our testing, a lone Hatzegopteryx can actually theoretically solo any of the Titans, the Desert Titan due to it just simply not doing a lot of damage in general, whereas the Ice and Forest Titans by flying backwards in and out and avoiding the melee hits of said Titans. The Hatzegopteryx does theoretically have the advantage of being able to dodge any attacks, though it will result in a very long battle, unless of course you simply bring more creatures with you. Additionally, when compared to other flyers, and particularly Wyverns, the common Desert Titan killers, the Hatzegopteryx also has far better base movement speed and the ability to rotate quickly, which means it can easily inch in and out of combat as opposed to Wyvern's long turn radius where they can take quite a while to land even a single blow. At number 3, we have the Zaldrya Dragon from Dragon's Kingdom by Scorching Dami. Much like other Wyverns, and unlike the Hatzegopteryx previously, the Zaldrya Dragon doesn't have any armor, which means that it should not be taken against a Forest or Ice Titans, but a max level and fully trained Zaldrya Dragon will do spectacular damage to the Desert Titan, and seemingly also has a hitbox large enough to block most of the lightning hits, at least according to our testing, which meant that even with the lack of a saddle, they had pretty good survivability. Between both their bite attack and their breath attack, the Zaldrya Dragon does by far the most damage of any flyer and will make quick work of the Desert Titan, which is usually one that is whittled down by less than optimal armies since of course you can't just face tank it using Gigas. And to pull the Zaldrya Dragon even further ahead of the curve, their flight mechanics are generally superior to any other draconic creature within Ark, with better turn radius, better movement speed, and additionally the ability to dive rapidly, which can be especially helpful for if you are concerned about getting hit by the lightning, you can quickly dive out of the way, come back up, turn quickly, and return back to the battle. So all in all, despite being a highly specialised creature which is only really fitting for the Desert Titan, it does perform the role better than any other choice, and therefore we believe it deserves number 3 on this list. At number 2, we have the Evo Giga from Paleoark Evolution Apex Predators by the Paleoark team. Very few creatures in this game can withstand the onslaught from the Titans, let alone doing so with so few allies at your side. The Evo Giganotosaurus is a force to be reckoned with, since even just a mate-boosted pair with 0 imprint and a couple of levels into melee are a powerful enough duo that they can take on the Ice Titan head-to-head. In typical Giga fashion, these tyrannical kings of the wasteland, when taking too much damage, will enrage, but rather than knocking the player off the mount, rather the player can control the Giga to deal even more damage. Particularly the enraged stomp attack, which will cause the Giga to hit the Titan twice in quick succession for stupendous damage and really carve off the HP. Not to mention that once one Giga enrages, all nearby Gigas will also enrage too, causing your pair or your entire army to all enrage and to tear the Titan to shreds. On top of all of this, as the Titan reaches lower and lower HP, the Evo Giga will also deal more damage, up to a 20% multiplicative damage boost to all of its attacks. Therefore, the less health the Titan has, the more impactful all of the Giga's damage shall become. And to think, if even just a pair of unimprinted and primitive saddle Gigas can take on the Ice Titan, it's a wonder what kind of damage and speedrunning an entire army could be capable of. And thus, at number 1 of this list, we have the Teraxititan by Tristan's modding. Unlike the other creatures within this list, the Teraxititan isn't something you can find out in the wild, but rather it is player created. After obtaining a mixture of various DNA genomes and resources to create their very own Teraxititan embryos, the player can choose between the small Teraxititan and the large Teraxititan, the small one being about Rex tier while the large one is around Giga tier, and thus this larger Giga tier Teraxititan is a force to be reckoned with. Due to them being acquired as embryos hatched and raised, they are pretty much guaranteed to always be imprinted, since by the time you can get one, you should probably have the means to imprint one, and thus therefore a single imprinted large Teraxititan is enough to defeat any Titan. By default, a Teraxititan is capable of doing multiple buff rolls, which will increase it and its allies' own damage dealt, in addition to also giving itself a healing over time buff. So not only is the Teraxititan able to deal a lot of damage and heal itself while doing said damage, but much like Gigas, it is also capable of getting enraged. And while in an enraged state, the Teraxititan will deal more damage and also unlock further abilities. One of which is an AoE blast that deals massive damage to everything nearby, and the Teraxititan is also capable of an atomic radioactive breath which actually takes oxygen to spend, not stamina, and that alone has massive range, does rapid, heavy ticking damage, and can also be used on the move, which means that the Teraxititan, while breathing its atomic breath, can step backwards away from the Titans, take less damage, while also dealing maximum back. A minor utility as well is the fact that the Teraxititan is very speedy and very mobile, meaning that some players can use that to their advantage to move around the Titans, avoid their attacks, and take as little damage as possible. So you either have the safe route to slowly kill a Titan while taking little damage, or alternatively intentionally take damage to spark the enrage while also having a healing over time buff and deal such a devastating amount of damage to the Titans, which will raise the Teraxititan as the true Titan of the Arcs. And for what it's worth mentioning, Teraxititans are indeed breedable too. So you don't have to settle a Titan, but you certainly are capable of doing so. And thus we believe that the Teraxititan really does deserve the number 1 Titan Slayer status within this list. And that is our top 5 modded Titan Slayers for Ark Survivor Ascended. What do you think of this list? Is there anything you'd add to it? Or perhaps we've missed out on any mods available on the CurseForge platform? Please feel free to let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of these, like and subscribe for more Ark Ascended mods videos, and keep an eye out for future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.